Welcome to Learn English Anyways. Are you a parent who dreams of your child being fluent and confident in English?
But maybe you're worried you're not a teacher. And the thought of cramming English lessons into your already packed schedule feels, well, impossible?
If that sounds like you, don't go anywhere. Because in this video, we are sharing the one simple habit that can completely transform your child's English skills and their confidence just by using moments you already have in your day.
We're Jessica and Adam from the Learn English Anyways podcast, where we help families around the world make language learning a natural and joyful part of daily life. We're not here to hand you a complicated curriculum. We're here to give you back your time and your confidence as a parent. Let's be honest for a second. The pressure on us to make sure our kids succeed with English is huge. It comes from everywhere: schools, society, sometimes even our own families. We're told it's the key to their future, to better jobs, to a global life. And while that's true, all that pressure can create a quiet cloud of anxiety in our homes.
It can make us feel like we're failing before we've even started. We think, I'm not a native speaker, I'll just confuse them. Or, I don't have time for flashcards between soccer practice and dinner. These are real worries, and trust us, almost every parent we've worked with has felt them.
But now, let's flip that and think about it from our child's perspective. For them, this pressure often turns into fear. A fear of making a mistake, a fear of being corrected, a fear of feeling embarrassed when they don't know the right word. When English feels like a high-stakes performance, kids often choose not to participate at all. They get quiet. They might say, "I don't know," even when they do, because it feels safer than trying and getting it wrong.
This is what we call the confidence gap. It's the gap between what a child understands and what they feel brave enough to actually say. Formal lessons, for all their value, can sometimes make this gap even wider if they feel too much like a test. The child becomes hyper-aware of their mistakes, and the actual joy of connecting with someone gets lost. English stops being a tool for connection and starts to feel like a subject they can fail.
So the real problem isn't a lack of vocabulary or grammar rules. The real problem is that for many of us, English has accidentally become a source of stress instead of a source of connection. We're so focused on the what, the words, the tenses, the pronunciation, that we forget the why. And the why is to communicate, to share ideas, to build relationships. So, how do we fix this? How do we close that confidence gap and turn English back into a bridge for connection? Well, it starts with a story.
We want to tell you about a family we worked with. Let's call them Anna and her 7-year-old son, David. Anna was really worried. David was learning English at school, but at home, he was silent. He'd watch English cartoons and he understood instructions, but getting him to speak a full sentence was, as she put it, like pulling teeth.
Their evenings followed the same tense routine. Anna would try to practice with him. "David, how do you say this in English? What did you learn today?" She bought workbooks, she downloaded educational apps. But every time it felt like a battle. David would get frustrated, give one-word answers, or just switch back to their native language. Anna felt guilty and defeated. She was trying so hard to give him this gift, but it felt like it was just pushing them apart.
The before picture was this: English was a chore. It was a scheduled activity filled with pressure and expectations. It wasn't part of their real life. It was a task on a to-do list. And because of that, David associated English with anxiety. He was so afraid of making a mistake in front of his mom that he just chose not to speak at all.
And here's the key insight. The problem wasn't David, and it wasn't Anna's teaching methods. The problem was the frame. They had framed English as study time. And study time, by its nature, has a right answer and a wrong answer. What they needed was a completely new frame, one where there was no risk of being wrong.
So we worked with Anna to make one tiny shift. We asked her to put away the workbooks. No more quizzes, no more, "How do you say this?" questions. Instead, we suggested she try one simple habit. For just 10 minutes during dinner, she would talk in English, but not about English. She just narrated her world and asked simple, curious questions. That tiny shift changed everything. And the story of what happened after is the solution we're about to share with you.
The single most powerful habit you can build is what we call the conversation connection. This isn't a lesson. It isn't study time. It is the simple daily practice of turning everyday moments into low-pressure, natural English conversations. It's all about moving English from the chore column in your family's life over to the connection column.
The core idea is this: kids learn a language best not when they are being formally taught, but when they're living it in a way that feels natural and meaningful. Just think about how they learned their very first language. It wasn't with flashcards. It was through thousands of tiny, everyday moments with you. You pointed at the dog and said, "Look, a doggy." You asked, "Are you hungry?" when they started to fuss. Language was just a tool they used to understand their world and connect with you. The conversation connection uses that exact same powerful process for English.
Now, before you think, great, but I don't have time for that, just hear us out. The beauty of this is that it doesn't require any extra time. It's about using the moments you already have. The drive to school, cooking dinner, bath time, a walk to the park. These are all perfect opportunities.
And this brings us to the golden rule of this habit: consistency over duration. You don't need to speak English all day long. For most families, that's exhausting and just not realistic. But can you find 10 or 15 minutes a day? Just one small, dedicated window? Short, daily practice is so much more effective than one long, stressful session once a week. Those 15 minutes, done every day, create a predictable and safe space for your child to absorb and eventually start using the language. You're building their confidence, one day at a time.
Okay, the first practical step is to pinpoint your family's conversation connection moments. These are the little pockets of time that already exist in your day where you can easily switch the language to English. Don't try to do it all at once. Just pick one or two to start. The goal is to attach this new habit to a routine that's already there.
Let's throw out some ideas. A great one is mealtime magic. You're already sitting together. Instead of asking stressful questions about school, you can use simple English about what's right in front of you. "Could you pass the rice, please?" Or, "This chicken is yummy." You can talk about the food. "Are the carrots crunchy?" "This soup is hot." It's real, it's in context, and there's zero pressure.
Another favorite of ours is commute conversations. That time in the car or on the bus is a goldmine. Your child has a totally captive audience. They might be staring out the window so you can just narrate what you see. "Look at that big red bus." Or, "Wow, that dog is running so fast." You're not quizzing them. You're just bathing them in language that's connected to their world, building their vocabulary without them even noticing they're learning.
What about bath time banter? For younger kids, bath time is all about play. You have toys, water, bubbles. It's a perfect language learning playground. The little duck is swimming. Can you wash your arms? Look at all the bubbles. Words like splash, float, sink, warm, and wet just come to life naturally.
Or even tidying up talks. While you're cleaning up their room together, turn it into a game. Okay, where does the blue car go? Let's put the teddy bear on the bed. Can you find your yellow book? You're practicing words for toys and furniture and also crucial little words like in, on, under, and next to.
The key is to pick a moment that feels easy and fun for your family. It could be while you cook, while you're watering plants, or right before bed. When you link the conversation connection to something you already do, you get rid of the biggest roadblock, finding extra time. You're not adding a task, you're transforming one.
Okay, so you've picked your moment. Let's say it's dinner time. Now, what do you actually say? This is where people often get stuck. We suggest a simple two-level approach. Level 1 is what we call narrate your world. This is the easiest, no-pressure place to start. You just talk out loud, in simple sentences, about what you're doing, seeing, and thinking.
You basically become the sportscaster for your own life. While you're cooking, you might say, I'm chopping the carrots. The carrots are orange. Now, I'm adding a little salt. You're not asking your child to say anything back. The goal is pure, understandable input. You're giving them a rich stream of language that's tied directly to the real world, showing them how words and actions connect. It's incredibly powerful.
Once you get the hang of narrating, and your child is used to hearing English in these moments, you can move to level 2. Ask open-ended questions. This is how you gently invite them to talk. A closed question is anything that can be answered with yes, no, or a single word. Like, did you have a good day? The answer is yes. And conversation over.
But an open-ended question needs a real answer. It invites thoughts and ideas. So instead of, did you have a good day? You could ask, what was something funny that happened today? Instead of, do you like this book? Try, what do you think is going to happen next?
Let's try a few more. Instead of, is that a dog? Closed. Ask, what is that dog doing? Open. Instead of, did you play with blocks? Closed. Ask, what did you build with your blocks today? Open. See the difference? These questions can't be answered with a simple yes or no. They encourage your child to dig into their brain, find some words, and share an actual idea.
This small shift is huge. Open-ended questions tell your child, your ideas matter. I want to hear what you think. It turns them from a student into a storyteller. And when they finally respond, even if it's a broken sentence or a mix of languages, that brings us to the most important step of all. This last step is really the emotional heart of the whole thing. If you want your child to become a confident English speaker, you have to make it safe for them to make mistakes. In fact, you have to expect them. Mistakes aren't a sign of failure. They're a sign that your child is trying. And it's the effort that we need to celebrate.
So, what does this actually look like? Let's say you ask, what did you do at the park? And your child says, I goed on the slide. The typical teacher instinct is to correct them right away. No, honey, it's not goed, it's went. While your intention is good, that can shut the conversation down. All the child hears is, you got it wrong.
Instead, try a technique called recasting. You don't point out the error at all. You just gently model the correct version in your reply. So, when your child says, I goed on the slide, you respond with enthusiasm. Oh, you went on the slide! That sounds so fun! Was it a really fast slide?
See what just happened? You showed you understood them. You modeled the correct grammar, went, without making a big deal out of it. And you kept the conversation going with another open question. Your child feels heard and successful, and they absorb the correct form naturally, without any shame. You're focused on the meaning of what they said, not the mechanics.
Praise is also a huge part of this, but try to praise the effort, not just the accuracy. When your child struggles to find a word but finally gets their idea out, you can say, Wow, I love how you explained that to me. Or, That's such a great question. This tells them that simply trying is what you value most. Over time, this builds an incredible amount of psychological safety. Your child learns that these little moments are a space where they can play with language and still be celebrated. This is the secret to closing that confidence gap for good.
Now, as you start this, you're probably going to hit a few common bumps in the road. The first one we hear all the time is, but my own English isn't perfect. Won't I just teach my child my own mistakes?
This is such a common fear, but please let us put your mind at ease. Your enthusiasm is so much more important than your perfection. Think about it. What's better for your child? A perfect but silent parent, or a parent who joyfully talks with them in English, even if there's an accent or a few grammar slips? By speaking English, you are modeling courage. You're showing them that the goal is connection, not perfection.
The second roadblock. What if my child resists? What if they just answer me in our native language? This is totally normal, especially at first. The key is, don't force it. Don't say, you have to say it in English, because that just turns it back into a test. Instead, you be the bridge. If you ask, what snack do you want? And they answer in their native tongue that they want an apple, you can say, oh, an apple. Great choice. Here is your red apple. You accept their answer in whatever form it comes and just keep providing that English model. Keep it light, and over time, they'll start to mirror you.
And finally, the big one. We are just too busy. This feels like one more thing to do. We get it. We really do. But we want to challenge you to reframe this. The conversation connection is not another thing. It is a new way of doing the things you're already doing. You're already driving to school. You're already making dinner. This isn't about adding a new block to your calendar. It's about changing the language you use for just 5 or 10 of the thousands of minutes you already share together. So, to bring it all home, the simple, powerful habit is the conversation connection. It's about choosing a moment you already have, narrating your world in simple English, asking curious questions, and most importantly, celebrating your child's effort, not their perfection.
When you turn these everyday moments into light, fun conversations, you're doing so much more than just teaching English. You're showing your child that their voice matters. You're making your bond stronger. And you are proving that learning isn't a chore, but a joyful adventure you can have together.
Remember the most important thing. You don't have to be a perfect English teacher. You just have to be their parent. You are already their first and best teacher. You have everything you need to start. You can even start today.
If you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more practical tips from Learn English Anyways.
And we have a question for you. What is one conversation connection moment you could try with your family this week? Will it be at dinner time, in the car, or during bath time? Let us know in the comments below. We read every single one, and we'd love to cheer you on. Thanks for watching, and happy talking.